and they should be able to hear everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Howdy, stream.
Okay, so we're just gonna get started by giving a little recap about what happened last session. Also, welcome everybody that's watching. Welcome everybody that's going to be watching in the future. Shout out to all the wonderful artists and creators that are contributing some one way or another to the game. You can always find their info below if you look down on any of our YouTube pages, Twitter page, Instagram page, the Twitch, wherever you want to look. They do some awesome work, and I'm sure they'd love to hear from any that's interested in getting some artwork done or some music or battle maps using for their own games. So big shout out to them again.
And real quick, one announcement before we get started. A couple people followed in between the end of last session and the start of this one. Just want to shout them out because we won't be able to midstream. That's going to be Liches B. Cray Cray, Mr. Cow Disease, Zucchini Pasta, oh, that's Sarah, and Alien Andre. Thanks to all you guys. Really appreciate you following.
And Liches do be cray cray.
They really do.
Yes.
That's Noah. I play D&D with him on Saturdays and Fridays.
Welcome, Noah.
All right. Sorry, I was fixing something. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well.
Ready.
Doing all right.
Yeah,
Doing
man.
well? Everybody?
Doing pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
alive, so that's something.
Energy.
Yeah.
Get your energy up. Come on.
Yeah, let's get some energy. Woo! Wednesday night. Let's go!
Fuck yeah, D&D!
There we go.
Energy.
So, to recap what happened last session, in session 1, our first session, everybody, we began our adventure in the small logging town of Elboldor, nestled within the barony of Cespish in Inner Faerun. History has not been kind to this region or its people because of the devastation of the cataclysmic event called the Spell Plague. The blue flames that swept across these lands destroyed everything and left a deep scar in the mind of its people. But today, the town of Elboldor was celebrating with a festival, oddly named the Festival of the Blue Flame. And as our adventurers found themselves within this small little logging town, they saw those streets busy with life, and lamps lighting the streets with a strange blue flame. Introductions were made, drinks were had, a scuffle with the town sheriff was had as well. And just as everyone was beginning to get comfortable in Elboldor, people began to gather around a small stage built in the center of town. This is where the newly elected mayor of Elboldor, Maryvale Jostens, was to hold her speech. And standing next to her, the sheriff, Pav Beaumont. The mayor preached of recent times being tough, the logging operations almost coming to a complete halt under her father's mayorship. But she promised the people of Elboldor prosperity and continued growth, and to take this night to celebrate the coming tomorrow. As her speech came to a close, we lost Kate. Oh, and she's back.
And she's back. Now she's the DM.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it
but
moved me. It moved me to the inactive channel. I'm so sorry.
You're all good. Where were we? As her speech came to a close, and the blue fireworks rocketed into the sky behind her, these celebrations were interrupted. The lanterns that were lit blue in the streets went out and returned to normal fire. And the crowd itself began to part. Sorry, my music died. There it goes. The crowd was then giving way to a group of white-robed figures, hooded, with red ropes around their waists, who were flogging an individual as they passed. Whispers of sorcery and blasphemy rung out through the crowd. These figures were monks of the monastery of Ilmater that just sat just outside of town. After these monks had passed through the crowd, and the crowd itself began to disperse, things went from odd to very bad. It began when you felt a rumble coming from beneath you as the streets began to shake, and all of a sudden a grubby little arm burst from the ground and began to pull a man toward the hole it came from. Then all hell broke loose in the small town of Elbador, as close to 100 flying creatures, imps to be particular, with blue fiery eyes began to terrorize the town. You fought these creatures off as best as you could, and eventually the imps scurried back into the holes that once they came. Panic between this group of outsiders, all of you, began, thinking that you may be blamed for the chaos that had just happened, realizing that some of you may look odd than the normal everyday human that seemed to be residents of the town of Elbador. The choice of escaping to the nearby Chondlewood or helping the wounded was made for you, as a large crowd began to gather, and when they marched past you, they marched towards the monastery of Ilmater. It was obvious that the crowd was going after the monks and had blamed them for the chaos that had just happened. Luckily, they were stopped by the Sheriff Pav and his goons and were dispersed before any more violence found its way to Elbador. Speaking with the sheriff, you attempted to try to gain entry into the monastery to question these monks about the chaos that had erupted in Elbador and whether or not they were indeed the cause of these imps arriving in town. Though the sheriff stopped you and told some of you that they required permission from the mayor before that you were allowed entry into the monastery. As this conversation was happening with the sheriff, a few others snuck around to the side of the monastery and through the broken windows observed an interesting conversation that was happening. Initially between one of the monks who now had his hood removed and one of the sheriff's henchmen. The conversation was mainly about something had gone missing in the monastery, and Maistel, which you don't know who that might be at the moment, is trying to deal with it at the current moment in time. You're not too sure what has gone missing, how it has went missing, but inside the monastery itself, it looked like it had been turned and ransacked, inside and out. The destruction was quite heavy. After seeing this, you all returned to Pav, who escorted you back into the town of Elbador to get an audience with the mayor. But before you were able to get to the manor where the mayor was currently at, an older lady named Castia stopped you all and took special interest in our Forborg friend Adlith and gave her a gift, a large potted plant in which she told her to take very good care of because it may grow into something very special one day. She thanked all of you for providing the town with the safety that you had provided it, getting rid of some of these imps, and she departed, wishing that you would eventually maybe visit her shop, as she was the herbalist in the town of Elbador. And with that, you were led to the big manor house of Elbador, which was beautiful on the inside, with large wooden tables and furniture. A beautiful red rug with gold embroidery was in the main hall. And in time, you were invited to talk with the mayor, who, at the time, had given a letter to Pav, and all you guys had heard was the mayor giving him an order to make sure that the order knew exactly what had happened here in Elbador. And with that, Pav, the sheriff, left, and the doors were closed behind you, and you were left alone in the mayor's office here, where she seemed very panicked and worried. Obviously, being a new mayor of a newer town, trying to rebuild, after all the corruption and crime that kind of plagued this place, a bunch of imps smashing through the majority of your town and businesses probably isn't a very good look for your first couple of days on the job. So she was obviously in a very panicked state when you guys had approached her. Mainly, you had talked to her about a few things. One was gaining entry into the monastery itself, which she did grant you permission. She said that the monks of the monastery are rather forthcoming, and they would probably accept you in their doors and be willing to talk to you if you guys thought they had had any involvement in the attack on Elbador. She also mentioned an organization, a crime-ridden organization within town that she personally thinks would be behind something like this, which was at a club in town called The Arrow, and it was run by a Cade Snow, a gentleman's name that she had given you. She told you it was on the opposite side of town, and you would recognize it once you got closer. With that, she was very helpful. She wished you all the best and agreed with our friend Redrick to let the townspeople know that you were not behind in all of it, as you were feared that you may have been suspects in the attack. She agreed and let you guys know if you had any questions or needed any help within the town to come back, and she'd be more than willing to do so. But with that, if nobody has any questions before we start, we can get going. So where we left off at the very last moments of our game is you guys walked out of the manor house. At this point of the night, the festival was actually beginning in the later evening. So it is probably 10 p.m., a little bit later at night, maybe getting closer to 11 at this point. So it is dark. The streets are no longer lit by these blue flames. They are normal lanterns. So you guys have a decision to make. What would you guys like to do?
Well, we
So-
got two options, right?
I mean, there's usually pretty much more than that. There's, let's see, bother the criminals, bother the clergy, get some sleep, go running into the woods, get some
Yeah, well,
sleep somewhere else.
I suppose we
Um,
have two options as far as the next steps if we're looking to look into this. I would like to.
You would
Does,
like to do that. Sorry.
That's okay. Does anybody know anything about that gang the mayor told us about?
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
I've never had to
I-
deal with.
I don't know too much about them. I just know that they are loosely associated with a fairly unpleasant organization. So we
Hmm.
might want to tread cautiously if we decide to go talk to them.
By the way,
Yeah.
I didn't mention this. I believe I mentioned it at the end of last session. If I didn't, she would have. The name of that organization here in Elbador is the Disciples.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. The disciples from the Arrow Club.
Um, I'm good at talking. I could go talk to them.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to go talk to the clergy. No, maybe do it in the morning.
The only
yeah,
thing that
we should
worries me
probably
with
get some rest.
that's fair, and some of us may be hurt or needing it more than others, but the thing that concerns me with putting off speaking with the clergy, going to the temple, is that more time to potentially change or clean up any messes that might give us clues as to what happened.
Yeah.
Definitely fair.
So you think we should go talk to the clergy first?
I do.
I'd go with that.
Okay.
I suppose I could make it a little while longer.
I'm not
Can't
very
quite
tired. I
keep
feel
up with
pretty
you
good.
guys' ways. All right.
Keep a nice grip on those fanny packs.
I was personally for the run into the woods option, but I can change my mind.
We'll call that Plan B.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so should we go talk to the clergy?
Back up the hill.
All right.
Sorry, what is it? I'm just gonna look at Atlas, kind of like, this is a bit of a big sentence. I'm a little worried. Could you ask if anyone's hurt? Because I kind of want to help them.
Oh, is anybody injured? She like addresses the group.
I mean, I think
No,
the
I'm
stinger
fine.
from that imp's still stuck in my arm. Stings a little, but otherwise than that, I'm fine.
Can help.
I'm fine.
Minus
I mean,
griefs, minus griefs.
if you don't need that, I could probably use it in something. Do you bet?
If you want to dig around in there and fish it out, I'm sure you can.
I got a
That sounds
dagger.
like a
Wanna
lot of
borrow
work
it?
right now. No. Use tongs for something like this. You got to get in real small and get in there and just.
On second thought, maybe you can take it out.
Oh no.
Let's put off surgery till later, huh?
I think we're all okay, Egg. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Adlith kind of like pats his arm and says, "That was sweet of you."
Thank you.
All right.
Very well.
Ooh.
So you guys are heading back towards the monastery then, eh?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Just remembered I still have stew.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any
At
bowls
some
left?
point, you are going to need some place to put that down, right?
I think I might have like one bowl left because I haven't really been getting any back, and the rest of them are on my
Right.
on my stand.
I just vaguely remember you saying you needed more bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one bowl left. It's where he makes all the stew.
Just hand on the pot.
one very large bowl.
Just give him a spoon when he eats out of the pot.
Okay. Okay. Okay then. Head up the road to the monastery. All right. So you guys head back up towards the monastery, which is probably about 5 to 10 minutes outside of town. Once again, this structure is the largest structure in this town. You can tell that a lot of work has gone into actually making this building, and the architecture kind of stands out. It's different from what the majority of the buildings in Elvador kind of look like. Just the way the stone is shaped and made, it looks like it comes from a different place. It is definitely not like local kind of craftsmanship. And as you approach, all the lights inside are out. Even when you guys peeked in last session, the lights inside were out. So it seems like this place has been abandoned with all the destruction that you see. You see a large scorch mark up the front of the door. You can see just outside of the grounds of this monastery that the windows have been smashed. And it looks like they had been smashed outward, not inward. So the majority of the glass lays on the outside, on the ground, so kind of surrounding this place. But it stands in front of you. Once again, the symbol of Ilmater and a massive constructed statue sits above the doorway, 2 hands crossed with a large red rope, kind of hangs itself down on the sides of the door. So this very ominous building stands in front of you.
Calder will just walk up to the door, briefly kind of trace his fingers over the symbol of Ilmater on it. All right. Give it a nice heavy knock.
Kind of echoes. You can hear it. No one answers after a few minutes.
So, do we
Friends
just
here
go
on the
in?
business of the mayor.
Is the door locked?
You try the handle?
That Rin is asking Calder.
Here's that Calder is frozen in time.
Yes.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Those dastardly
Cast-
clerics of Illumator.
The imps, I
Castus
got
will
him!
go- He'll check the. He'll
He's
check the
now
door. Castus
petrified
will
for
check
the
the
rest
door.
of the game.
Oh Lord.
Hold on. make sure he knows.
Yeah.
Dinner probably
Um,
He
just
said,
went
"You're like, man, they're taking a long time to answer the door."
out. No one's volunteering.
Give
I'll
him-
go up and try the door handle.
Alright.
Well, we'll just give him
I-
a second.
I-
See if he
okay.
comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he doesn't come back, we'll continue. Give him uno momento.
A Roman moment.
Going to have a snack.
What are you having? Nico? You even bring any for others?
Hang on, here. Let me. Do you,
Oh, the
did you
crunch.
get it? Did you get it?
What
No.
is that?
Yeah,
Pita
It's a
heard
pita
it.
chip. Yeah, I'm out of
Mm,
hummus, but I have the
yum.
pita chip.
I brought cookies and cheese.
Oh.
There
The last
goes
time!
Mac.
Oh.
No, this is
Door
part of the
narrates the stream.
process.
Oh God.
First thing you start
Dungeon
is
Master now.
turn it off, turn it back on.
Indeed.
Do we want to go to like a technical difficulty screen?
I mean, I'm
Okay.
sure it'll be pretty quick.
We can go to the stream starting screen if you want to.
Sure.
Oh,
He's back.
wait.
Fucking
Oh,
A.
oh,
Sorry,
oh.
guys.
That's all right.
Internet.
Welcome back.
Don't know. Don't know. Jesus. All right.
And we're back.
Camera. I'm here.
Uh,
What a miss.
Nothing.
They're waiting
no
for
one
you.
answered your door.
Waited.
Okay. No one answered the door. I continued before I knew I was disconnected. Friends here on business of the mayor. Just looking to talk. Want to look around.
You wait a moment. No answer.
I checked the door, see if it's locked.
Yeah.
Well, no. You realize they might just all be downstairs or something. This is a particularly large building.
That's a good point. I'll give it a couple real heavy knocks.
Oh, who do we
Oh.
lose now?
Oh, there goes
Calder
Kate.
again? Oh, Kate.
Kate.
Damn.
Oh.
There we go.
Rough session two.
Dropping
Rough
like
session two.
flies.
It keeps kicking me to the AFK channel because I'm
Yeah.
apparently not
Move.
moving my mouse.
Move.
I gotta move my mouse.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
So, once again, no answer.
Well,
All right, then. Might as well see what we can do.
I'm just gonna try and push it. Is it unlocked? Can I open it?
It has two large, thin, like brass handles that you can try to push or pull on if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a go.
Okay, so you pull on it. You feel it like you're like, oh yeah, I gotta push it. So you push it, and it seems to give in a little bit, and you can see that the door is starting to open, but it feels like something is blocking it.
Okay. Is there?
Um,
There's not
if
enough
somebody-
space to see through a crack or anything, is there?
You can, yeah.
Yeah,
There
I'm gonna
is
take a peek.
now. Give me a perception check.
First roll of the game.
Oh boy, super good at that. 11.
You can't see much. Really, what
Yeah.
you can see is some debris in the corner, and you can see like a standing, what is kind of like, I don't want to call them, like a candle holder, like a standing candle holder. You know?
Candelabra, maybe?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what the word
Yeah.
is.
Okay,
Thank you.
gotcha.
So you can see.
Just curious, does this look like it'd be a public, like, temple kind of setup or monastery, or is it more like a church, like where they
When you
locked it
first
out?
looked in there, it did have pews, right, where people could see. When you were in town, you didn't see anybody really wearing the symbol of Ilmater, or it really being located anywhere like on any buildings or anything like that. So if people do attend like a weekly service or something like that, or rituals that may happen here, you can't really tell. What you do see, Mac, also is that there is a large pew that seems to be sitting in front of the door.
Is that what's holding it shut?
You would assume.
Okay. Can I just give it my all? I'm a pretty strong guy.
Sure.
Try
I
Push
I
through
would
it.
like to help.
Go ahead and give me a strength check.
Strength or athletics?
Athletics
Yeah.
ahead.
My man.
At advantage.
Oh,
So it's,
I don't think I need it, but I'll try. Okay, no, I'm gonna take the first one. 25.
Oof.
25, easy enough.
Nice.
You just put your shoulder into it, and it just throws the door open. You can hear the pew, and the door is now open in front of you. And inside, the mess is still there that you had seen before. It doesn't seem like too much cleaning has gotten done within the hour that you have seen since you were last here.
After knocking the door open, I just like look over my shoulder at the rest of the group, give it like a cheeky little smirk and a wink, and say, "Oops."
That
Well,
That's
they
very
certainly
funny.
know we're here now. If there's anybody in.
Yeah. Is
It
there
was-
anybody in the like main front chamber here?
With that last perception check that you had, you don't see anybody.
I mean, they
So-
were just
and they
here
must have-
like an hour ago.
Yeah, they must have
Right.
put that in front of the door after the guards left.
Can I
Oh, that's a good
try?
question.
Can I try listening to see if I hear anything? Like maybe hear any movement downstairs? Okay.
Give me a perception check.
12.
You listen. Silence.
But yeah, that's a good question.
Um,
Was the pew there before when we looked through the window? Like, would we remember?
No. No.
It could have been 'cause
you
it walked
watched
through the door.
You watch people
Oh,
leave.
true.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd like to just take a few steps in and cup my hands, just go, visitors, and see if there's any response.
I'm gonna take a couple steps in behind him too, and not draw it, but just keep a hand close to the hilt of my greatsword.
Okay. Before
I am
before
removing
you
my
get too
pistol.
far in,
Mhm.
Egg,
Mhm.
you walk in, and as you go, visitors, you feel something touch your throat. Now, friend, I'd be very, very cautious with your very next move. And you kind of look to the side. You see a robed hand, kind of with a small short sword. It's kind of pressing his blade. The hood is up. You see that it is one of the monks that you had saw in town before. Now state your business here. The monastery is closed.
From Mayor, have questions. Also stew.
Your friend
All
Both
of
those
which
things
is
are
literally
true.
true.
Take your hand off your blade, sir.
I'll drop it slowly. Now, there's no need for violence here today, friend. We're just here to talk.
Like I said, the monastery is closed. Turn around. And at this point, you hear another voice up above you, and you see another road figure. This gentleman's hood is down. You hear, Hestel, put the blade down, you fool. He kind of looks up and towards the voice. Not all of you can see this. Probably only Egg and Caldor at this point. Very well, Maestel. Puts his blade, and you can hear it sheath, and he steps out in front of you, and all of you can see now from the doorway. It is the gentleman that you had seen hug Podrick the episode before, the brother of one of the sheriff's henchmen. This is Hestel.
The one with the knife or the older guy?
The one with the knife.
Okay.
Apologies. And he kind of steps back, and he kind of puts his head down and backs up.
Nobody got hurt. No harm done.
We understand it's been a trying night for everyone.
As you all kind of funnel into the monastery, you hear from sort of to your right, tink, tink, tink. And you look, you see an older gentleman beginning to walk down who has a wooden walking cane that kind of resembles what maybe like a gnarled staff would look like, but it's very short. It only comes up probably past his hip as he kind of holds onto it. And it has a very ornate but like roughly cut purple gem that sits on top of it. But you guys instantly notice it. And what's even more noticeable as this gentleman approaches all of you is his entire bald head, and he is bald from even his eyebrows, no facial hair. This man doesn't have there's no hair on his body. His sleeves are kind of rolled up, and he's definitely older than the rest of these people, the monks that you have seen, even the one that was getting flogged on his way in. What's most interesting about this man is his right eye is completely washed over in white. He seems to be blind, and he is completely covered in scars. Little lashes and scars that would probably resemble a pinky kind of fill his entire face and his entire head. So he can see out of one kind of graying left eye, and he walks up to all of you and says, "Even though it is looking kind of disastrous, welcome to the Monastery of Ilmater." And he kind of gives you a low bow.
Sir.
"I am Master Maistel, the bishop
Oh,
of
so
this
you're him.
monastery."
We were looking to talk to you.
"I was assuming so."
There's some nasty scars you got there.
"And I see you have one as well."
Couple.
"Well, welcome. I'm assuming all of you are the outsiders that I've heard about. Seen.
That is
More
what
or
they
less.
keep calling us.
Ah. I was hoping you would come and visit. There was something about some of you that I couldn't be unaware of." And he kind of gives you a smile. "Apologies. The monastery looks as it is. There's been a robbery."
Indeed.
What was
Robbery,
taken, if you
not
don't
just
mind
an
us,
attack.
asking?
"Aye. Shut the door, Hestel." "Of course, my lord." Go ahead.
Adlith is going to look to Isaiah and say,
We knew there was a robbery. Remember? Something was missing.
In
Calder
Elven,
just kind of
I'm gonna say in Elven, that we might not want to tell them that we know that already. It's a little game of intrigue. You gotta
Oh,
keep your
okay,
cards
okay.
close to your chest.
I
now,
don't have cards.
I know it's an expression.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
now, Master Maistel, you say you had a robbery. I think what my 2 or 3 other companions here were trying to say all at once was what exactly was taken.
We will get to that. Hestel, go inform the others that the outsiders have arrived. Let them know that there should be no intrusions till we are finished." "Very well." And you see Hestel walk to the back of the room, where there is a large door, which you had seen him enter before earlier this night. He opens it and he and closes it behind him. "Apologies about the boy. He's rather on edge, young, high-strung."
It's been a hard night. It's all right.
Do you mind sitting? I'm rather old. You can tell. My bones
Oh.
don't hold up as much as you, young, strapping. Ugh. And he kind of you can see him kind of falter a little bit and lean on his cane.
Isaiah will offer a hand on his back and be like, "It's been a while since I've been called young. Let's get you over to one of these pews."
When his back is turned and Isaiah is helping him towards one of the pews, Adlith is kind of eyeing the staff that he's carrying,
Mm-hmm.
and she's standing behind the group now, and she's just gonna whisper under her breath and do some motions with her hand. She wants to cast Detect Magic.
Ooh, okay.
Well,
Lost somebody.
Oh.
She
She cast
needs to move her mouth.
invisibility instead. Wrong spell.
Ah, I am so sorry. I'm
You're
moving
good.
my mouse and it keeps kicking me.
You're good.
Okay. So you cast Detect Magic. What's the range on Detect Magic?
30
I just
feet.
pulled it out. 30 feet,
30
yeah.
feet.
I see a
Okay.
ginger loaf.
So a few things pop up on Master Mystel. The first thing is indeed the gem that sits in the staff. And if I'm not mistaken, detect magic, you can tell what type of magic it is, correct?
Yeah.
It is divination that you can tell is coming off this purple gem. Also, the symbol of Ilmater that he wears around his chest, which is an ornate metallic-looking symbol, which in the center has again the two hands crossing in the red ropes that wrap around his hand, the wrists. That glows as well, pretty strongly actually, and it is aberration. Is the school of magic that surrounds the necklace.
Okay.
While we're
Hmm.
walking, can I kind of take a look around to see, because you said the glass had exploded outward. I want to see if
Mhm.
there's any sort of indication as to where those things had come from within the building then.
Give me an investigation check.
Ooh, I should not speak about stuff I am bad with. Ooh, that's a big old 4.
For the destruction in his temples is too much to gather for you right now. But you are correct. The glass had been pushed outward, but you can't find an entry point or anything like that in which someone may have broken into the building. You're not too sure. Oh, thank you, my lads. Welcome. Usually it is more comforting in our house. But you said you have questions.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
So, you had mentioned that there was a robbery. Are you comfortable telling us what was taken?
Or who took it?
Or why? Anything really.
Maybe just the story of this evening from your guys' perspective would be enough to get us going.
A story. And you said you were here at the request of the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Interesting that you would want anything to do with our monastery. Her father was, how do I say this, against us.
Well, what we can say is that she wants to make sure that everyone knows that the monastery didn't have anything to do with it.
She seemed to be a pretty big fan of you guys.
Maybe. Some of the things she said seemed to be fairly conflicting. You guys made your way through town. She seemed to, what were the words she said? Sorcery? Trickery? Something of that sort. She said not to let it bother the townspeople, and then when we spoke to her privately, she seemed a bit kinder towards you. What do you make of that?
Oh, she's not the only one. We have been looked down upon since we have been here. A lot of the people that currently live here are Chandathians. They do not, have not originally resided in Cespich for long. And if you are from that region, you know that they strictly have barred magic within the city, and many of its people are afraid of it. Any sort of magic, divination included. So it does not surprise me that she has that point of view. But it's odd that she would send you, outsiders, to come question me. I would be expecting the sheriff.
To be fair, we kind of stuck our own noses in, but that is maybe besides the point. As we're at least the ones around who could help, so we came to help.
Sheriff has his hands full. And while, yes, we may have stuck our noses in a bit, some of us have drive to be here, be of service, if we can be. Anything you can share that would help us would be tremendous.
Kind of looks at you curiously, Caldor, and he stops and thinks. Drive. Drive for justice.
Drive for justice. Drive for answers.
Drive for safety.
Just to do good.
Stew.
One of you guys can roll me a persuasion check.
And stew.
Who has the best persuasion?
I'm pretty
Probably
solid. I got a
Calder.
stick.
It would
Calder's
probably be
Yeah.
between.
good.
It would probably be between Calder and maybe one other. I would say Calder. You could do it with advantage since you were doing the majority of the talking to him.
You got it, Calder. You can do it.
Okay. 16.
That's okay. 16.
With
He looks at
advantage.
you.
Yeah.
Oh.
He looks at you and says, "Very well. Well, to start, my brethren and I, we were returning from a trip to the Chonderwood. There are a few things we like to gather out there, herbs and medicines, for potion crafts and such. And on our way, it was sort of a rite of passage for one of our new brothers. His name is Khalid, the man you saw being flogged in town. It is custom. I know it seems odd, but those that follow the Father Ilmater, they understand what comes with it." And he kind of puts his hand all across his cheek. Though not as harsh these days as they once were.
If you don't mind me asking, that does seem a bit extreme. Wouldn't forgive me, I don't know much about religion, but I would think a god who is supposed to relieve suffering or at least understand it wouldn't want to cause it to his subjects.
Ah, but what you don't understand, my child, is that Ilmater was first the god of the suppressed, of the suffered, and the persecuted. So first, you must feel that way before the Father offers you relief and encourages you to endure. That is what we try to portray to our brethren.
Calder has a hard time hiding that he is visibly irritated by that reasoning.
Whether you like it or
Alright.
not, that is our practice. Anyway, as we made our way through town and returned to the monastery, we found it ransacked, destroyed, torn up, as you can see here. A relic has been stolen, one that we were issued to guard for very many, many years. We do not know who stole it, but what I do know is that the brethren that we left behind said there was an attack before what had happened this evening.
And who were the attackers?
He did not say. The only person that he saw was a gentleman in a large purple robe who caused an explosion that rocked the entire monastery to its foundation. But it
The
also
attackers were I'm sorry, the attackers were men though, not fiends.
That's what he said.
Any of the brethren that were here still around? We talked to one of them, maybe?
Hestel was the only one that was here. He tried his
So,
best,
do
but
you-
he hid.
Do you think that maybe then the imp attack was just to cover their escape?
I do not know what caused the imps to come out of the ground. Could
Well,
be
they-
connected.
Did they come out before or after you all got back and found the place ransacked?
The imps?
Yes. Because the theft was before, but
As far as I know, it was after. You would have to
So-
ask Hestel for all of the details, but we didn't get much. I didn't get much of the information myself. I've been rather busy.
Do you know what time the attack actually happened then?
I do not, but I could
Mm.
get Hestel for you, and he would be able to answer these questions.
That would be much appreciated.
Is the relic dangerous?
Some could deem it so. Those that ordered us to guard it said it had some ancient power and relevance to Elbador, at least the town's past. We called it the Moonstone.
Any mention as to what that ancient power might be?
To me, it looked like a large piece of obsidian, if you know what that stone may be. But even my insight, I did not glean anything of it. It seemed to be inanimate, lifeless. You could use all sorts of magic to try to deem something from it, but nothing.
Hmm.
All this conversation's going on. I just want to kind of like walk around the edge of the room and just like poke at a couple things, see if anything catches my eye. Just kind of like pacing instead of being part of the conversation.
Sure, give me an insight check.
Oh,
Or not
shit.
insight, investigation, sorry.
All right.
Have any of us heard of anything called the Moonstone before?
Mm,
That would be a 12.
you can roll me a history check. With a 12, nothing out of the ordinary. But as you're walking around the kind of outer walls, Redrick, you do notice that a blast seems to have come from the inside, definitely. You can see scorch marks that run from sort of the edge of the floor up the walls that have left like black soot. You kind of rub your finger across it, as it indeed soot. Some sort of a blast had happened in here. You can tell even by looking around the room that things had blown apart, and that's probably why the reason that the windows have kind of exploded outward. You do see remnants of an explosion.
Gotcha. So from like halfway across the room, I'll be like, "Did your Hessel there mention anything about a blast? Big explosion in the center of the room? I mean, you got soot marks all over here."
I did just mention it. He did say there was a blast from one of the men that had arrived. That rocked the entire foundation of the monastery. It caused the destruction that you see around you.
Right. Sorry.
Can we take a look at where the item was stored?
Persuasion check.
All right. Come on.
What'd you get on your history check?
11.
You've never
Yeah.
heard of it.
This dice is. That's a 4. You're in jail. You go over there.
Unfortunately, my lad, we house many relics in the lower vaults. It would be inappropriate for those that are not brothers to venture down there.
I understand.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, my dear.
What's this? And she's gonna point to the stone on his staff, the crystal.
You have an interesting eye, do you? Well, my dear,
Mhm.
this stone here can do many things. One in particular can see. So let's say you were across a vast ocean. I could just tap here, and he tink, tink, tink with his finger on the stone, and I could see you from across that vast ocean, just sitting right here.
Can you do that with anyone?
Of course, my dear.
Do you
Adlith
have to know
eyes
them, or
widen.
There are limitations to my abilities, of course.
Can you do it with this relic of yours?
I've tried. It seems that whatever or whoever has taken it has blocked my sight. Blocked my sight.
Can I do insight to see if he, because he seems perfectly honest, but I want to see if he's holding something back. Maybe.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm not very good at it, but I'm gonna try.
Give it a go, man.
Oh, holy crap! Better than I thought. Total is 16.
Okay.
Insight check. He seems rather honest. It's hard to kind of get a read on him in general. He kind of keeps the same monotone kind of voice as he's speaking to you. He seems to be, especially when you Cassis had asked him to go into the vault, sort of reserved. He probably has things that, like he said, he doesn't want outsiders to see that aren't brothers. There are secrets and stuff like that. Probably relics of Omater that he keeps in the vaults. So there, he does seem to be keeping some things away from you, whether or not it's malicious or not. You don't get the feeling that it's malicious. He just doesn't know you. You're outsiders, of course, and there's that trust thing going on there. So
What was it? It was Hestus, was the name, right?
yes,
Was the other guy?
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, that was me out of character. Could
That was me in character answering you.
That's all.
Out of character.
DM, would Castus know anything with knowing the disciples? Would they have any interest in stealing something like this?
You can give me a history check to see if you know anything about what kind of dealings that the disciples may have.
Natural 1.
No. You've
Dice
heard of
is going to
disciples,
jail.
but that's
I mean,
about it.
You might need some new
Okay.
dice.
Is,
I put those are in prison right now.
is Hestus still in the room with us?
He's the
Or he
one
left?
that Mystel had sent to, and he was the one that held the blade to Egg's throat.
Right.
That is the brother of Podrick that you had seen earlier in the night.
Right, but is he still in the
No,
room?
no,
Or
no.
has
He was
Okay.
told to go inform the others that you had are speaking.
Gotcha.
Is anyone else in the room right now?
Nope.
Well,
Yeah, just a lot of us.
Yeah.
maybe it is time we should speak to this Hestel. If you want to go get him, we'll wait here and see if he can shed more light on these fellas. But before you go, just one last question. You said that stone allows you to see, but you aren't able to see this moonstone. Is there something we could get you, short of finding the actual person who has it, that would help? Or is it just a matter of not being able to see that place?
I do not know. It is away from my power. Unfortunately, the only thing that I was able to do was send a report to the Order and let them know that it has been taken. Hopefully they will be able to figure out who has taken it and do everything within their power to get it back.
It was the Order that asked you to look after it.
Indeed, it was the Order that had me construct this temple so many years ago.
Okay.
This relic is of particular importance. Would you say it's the most important that you carried?
One of the few.
And you said it's important to Albador specifically?
What I was told is that it has some attachment to Albador's history. What that connection is, I do not know. All I know and has been tasked to do for many years is protect this relic and all the others from what had happened. And of course, I have failed, as you see.
How many people knew it was here?
Only us. And now you.
Do you know of anyone who was part of the Order that maybe have soured on the idea?
None. The Brethren take an oath whenever they first join. Also, betraying this Order is betraying the Order of the Blue Flame. And that is a punishment you do not want upon your head.
Well, all right.
And can the pretty crystal do anything else?
Many things, my dear. He kind shakily stands up. I will retrieve Hestel, sorry, and return with him. Give me one moment.
Thank you
And he
kindly.
kind of limps away behind the door. And he closes it behind him.
Are there any other doors out of this room other than
So-
the one to the outside?
So yeah, so you do see, kind of in front of you. You would look. You are kind of facing where the altar had been turned over and where it would be facing. Sort of adjacent to that, on both sides, are two wooden doors. He has went through. If you're looking at my hands, he went through the left one. As you're looking at it, there is one to the right. You have not seen anybody enter or exit it, but that is where he went. And of course, the main door behind you.
Pretty much as soon as he's out the door, I want to check out. I want to find like the center of the blast radius and see if I could track somebody going from there out of the building.
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
Alrighty. This one.
I'm gonna start
That
making
was
my-
a bad idea.
I
You were
love
supposed to
bad
be the
rolls.
good dice. That was a. Let's see. What is 1 plus 5? 6.
It's hard to
That's a
even
six.
even for you, Isaiah, to even find the center of the blast. The rubble and chaos here is just too much for you to discern anything.
I'm gonna start
So
making
if
my
we're
way
to
over to
take-
that other door.
If we're
I'll
to
mosey
take
in that
the,
direction with him.
if we're to take the mayor's suspicions at face value, and based on what we've heard so far, what are we thinking? Maybe this Cade Snow and his group staged it to get this relic?
Well,
You
I
did
mean,
say-
How they know it was here?
yeah, if they're just like petty criminals, I feel like that's kind of above their
Well,
pay grade.
But in that case, how
I
did
mean-
petty criminals summon fiends?
they could always have been paid by somebody to steal it.
Very possible.
But this seems. This blast, I can't even see his center. It's possible this was magic. In which case, the old Chandathian criminals probably don't have this much at hand.
Not unless, like you said, they were being paid. If they're hired by someone with more means, more power, more plans, designs for this relic, someone who would know it was here and what it could do, what potential it might have.
I'm a little skeptical about the thieves, though. Thieves like that might not be just the one thing missing, even if that's what they were hired to get.
Don't
That's a good
forget
point.
how easy it was for us to find out that they lost something. Could have been really easy for them to find out that something was in here in the first place.
That's fair. And
Yeah.
as for taking or leaving other relics, depends on how much they were paid, right?
I don't know if I was to, fight a dragon, take its hoard, I wouldn't stop at, one thing. If it was just sitting there right in front of me.
Maybe they don't know what it was worth. Whatever else.
That's
might be
true.
down there. Even the old father there didn't seem to know what the moonstone was capable of, other than that it was important somehow.
Weird to find obsidian around here. There's
Is
not.
Adlith though? Can you find obsidian in the Chondlewood?
Well, I was gonna say, would Egg at least have any idea of how to acquire any?
Roll me nature checks, both of you.
While that's going on, do we hear anything from behind the other door?
So
was just gonna
you're just
peek
approaching
in.
and listening, or you're peeking in?
I was gonna creak it open a little bit, see what's in there.
Okay, I'll peek in with you.
So inside, you look, and what you see are cots a bunch of bunk beds kind of stacked on one another. This is probably where the brothers of the clergy sleep. You see bunks and trunks and funks and monks all through it. No, okay. You see, some of their belongings and things. Do see some crude weapons and shields kind of hang on the wall and blades of sort. So at least some of these monks are trained in some sort of combat, or they might be ornamental. You're not too sure. And you can give me a perception check. See if you see any. Both of you can give me a perception check. What was your nature?
Ooh.
18.
And I rolled a 20 total.
Okay.
22 for me.
So we'll go back to the nature check.
Yeah.
Adlith, you've never heard of obsidian before. You know stones, but you've never heard of obsidian before, nor any place into the Chandal Wood to find it. Egg, what were you asking about in specific?
If Egg would know at least if Egg would know how, I guess, if he knew about it / if he knew how to acquire it.
Of course. No. You've heard some people of the Goliath tribes in your area may use it for crafting, and other means like that, tools and such. It is a very strong ore, and it can be used to forge weapons and things like that of that nature. You know that some of the hunters in different clans within your mountains use that as weaponry, especially to hunt larger and more ferocious type of creatures. So it has been used. So that way it is more common, but not very common. Like you've heard and seen it, right? Compared to Adlith, who probably has never heard or has seen a piece of obsidian ever before. Perception check. You had a what?
22.
13.
22. Ren, you kind of peek past Redrick, and you notice that there is a door farther back. There are no lights in this room, so it's kind of hard to see. But farther back on the other side of the room, there is another door that seems to lead further into the monastery. But nothing else too crazy.
Ren is gonna notice the door, and she's gonna kind of like look over her shoulder at everyone else. I'm just gonna poke Redrick and point it out to him, and just go,
Yeah, let's take a look.
okay.
You guys being quiet about it?
Yes.
All right, stealth checks.
That's a 16.
Also a 16.
Not bad, not
As you
bad.
guys quietly make your way past these cots and bunk beds, and the room is rather long, though it is very narrow. As you're walking past these beds, you get to the door, and as soon as your hand, Redrick, grasps onto the knob, Ren, you feel an arm or a hand grasp your leg.
Is this the way to the privy?
And what you didn't see was a man at the very far end and to the right, laying on the bed. This man has very long hair. His body is bruised and bloody at this point, and his hair kind of covers his face. It's matted. It seems like he has been taken care of somewhat. There are bandages, but you can see blood has kind of leaked through the bandages and dressings that he is on his bare back. And what he does say to you in response to your shock: "Are you the father? The father greets me."
The father greets you?
That's me.
I bless you, my child.
All right, you say that, and he just kind of has this weird smile on his face, and he releases his hand, and it kind of falls limp to his side, and you see him kind of not go lifeless, but pass out, probably due to exhaustion.
Ren killed the guy.
You killed him.
Ren's gonna just look at Redrick and just be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that worked. Let's go." We'll check
You
the
open
door.
It is unlocked, and as you push it open, you walk into what looks like a mess hall, and probably where the monks of this monastery have dinner and feasts, and you see all sorts of different utensils. You see a very long wooden table with wooden stools that kind of surround it. You see candelabras set along the table, some very nice clay pots, plates that kind of set around it. You see to your left what was probably used for a kitchen of some sort, but it seems to be empty and rather lifeless at this point. But you guys can give me a perception check if you're in there.
Yeah, and I also want to specifically point out that I'm listening pretty hard to hear see if I hear anyone in this back area of the church. It seems pretty abandoned.
Fuck yes.
Too bad I
that
rolled a
is-
9 though.
I rolled a 20, a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Neither one of you hear anything. No whispers, no talking, nor do you really see anything that piques your interest in this room, unless you want to steal some cheese and bread from the monastery. But other than that, it's an empty mess hall.
No doors out of
No.
here.
There's one in the back right corner. There's one.
And how long about have we been gone?
Oh
at
yeah.
this point? Yeah.
Probably about 5 minutes or so. And at this
Oh
point,
really?
the rest of you hear the door open.
Shit.
And you see Hestel, the man with the brown cropped hair and the chin, the chin, the thin beard that he has that kind of comes across to the front of his face. He rushes out. He seems flustered at this point, visibly flustered, and kind of closes the door. Approaches you. Greetings. I am Hestel, Brother Hestel. Apologies. And he grasps his pendant. Father bless you. The father said there were more of you. Where are the others?
Ah, yes. Caller speaks
th-
like
getting
very
some air.
loudly.
Yeah.
They went to get bowls for stew, and then I'll bring up my stew pot.
They had to just step out for a minute. Hoping they hear.
Just stretching their legs.
Do we hear?
With my 20.
You definitely hear
You-
it.
Okay.
You guys see Adlith, like you guys would see this. She's like doing that thing where she's like going to like point at where they went, but she's like trying
Calder's
trying
just
to
gonna-
be like, do I say it?
Calder's gonna give her those eyes that like a parent gives their kid when they're trying to get like the kid's meal price, and the kid starts to say that they're older than that. That like, just the eye widens a little bit, just like. Shh.
After hearing Cole,
Stew!
it's like, I think that's our cue. Sit back.
Yeah, is there like a window? Maybe we should go out a window and pretend
At
like we're
this
coming
point-
around from the front?
The rest of you see Hestel kind of turn around and head towards the door that they probably went towards.
Window's a good idea.
Is there a window?
Now, Hestel, I thought we had you were here to speak with us. We had a few questions for you.
Of course. Let me gather the others. They shouldn't be back there anyway. I'd rather you all hear this than just some of you.
But oh, okay.
Ooh.
How did he? What
He's
he?
walking towards the door.
He just gathered that they were over that way.
Yeah, you guys are very awkward, and there was only one other place in this entire building.
You could have laughed.
I was trying to imply they like stepped outside or something.
Okay,
but
all right, then give me a deception check.
Him.
With disadvantage.
that's
They were
fair.
getting me bowls. I'm out of bowls.
Atlas was pointing at the door, but not pointing at the door. Egg said they're getting bowls, and you were like, they left.
Getting some air. Get some air.
Too many crossing stories. 8.
Yeah, you continue to
Oh,
the door.
no.
And you two are climbing out a window?
If we can find one, I guess.
Yeah, there
We
is
don't know what's
one, and it
happening.
was large enough, but you would have to either find a way to lift it or open it some way. And in a quick, is that what you're trying to do?
I'll try and lift it.
Quickly, give me an investigation check, really quick, to see if you can find like a latch or a handle to lift this in the dark.
Oh boy.
Disadvantage.
Can I do it?
You guys can aid each other. Up, straight roll. Go ahead, just a straight roll. Whatever it was.
I just rolled. It's
right.
gonna be an 18.
An 18. You
All right.
quickly you find a latch in the window. The kit to the kitchen kind of swings out.
All right.
Hop
Go.
through.
Yep, we're out.
You guys hop through the window.
I'll try to like lower myself down and close the window
Okay.
as I do.
You close it and it latches. The rest of you see Hestel kind of walk in and leave the door open. And you hear visibly or audibly, you hear, "Hello? Hello?"
Sneak
Now,
around to the
That's off
front.
the background.
You hear a
front.
door
Yeah, yeah.
open.
Hestel, I told you they stepped outside for a moment. They'll be back in no time.
Right. All right. And he comes back. It takes him a moment. He seems to take a moment, and he eventually comes back. And at the same time, you guys are probably walking through the front door.
Yep.
Oh.
Well,
Egg, I'm
miss,
sorry, I couldn't find any bowls for you. Sorry.
Oh, one bowl.
But she was.
I'm sorry.
Kind of.
Oh,
it's
hi.
been a
You
long-
must be Hestel.
Hello. I am. Yes.
It's a pleasure.
He seems visibly confused. It's been a long night. I haven't had much
Certainly has.
rest these past days. You all, who again?
We're helping the mayor try to figure out what's been going on, and we're just trying to figure out what caused the imps to appear, what happened here. We're just trying to help everyone out.
Mastel said you were attacked. You were here for that?
I was. It was a few nights back that the monastery was attacked. A group of men.
Did you get a
Yeah.
decent look at any of them? You got any distinguishing features, height, style of combat?
I tried to stop
anything?
them. I truly did. And he kind of seems visibly flustered. And he sits down on one of the stairs that kind of leads up to the altar. I tried to stop them, but I was cast aside by a flash. I hit the wall, and you can see that he kind of touches his head, and there's some blood on his hand. I don't remember much after that. All I remember was kind of gets this blank stare. All I remember was the flame and an explosion. There was a man. He was hooded and robed in purple or crimson. And then the explosion, it rocked the entire monastery. And then they were gone.
I'm sorry, you said this happened a few nights ago?
3 nights back, to be precise, yes.
Wouldn't the town have heard if there was a explosion that loud?
No one had come, and I had not left. It was my duty to stay here and protect the relics below. I was not to leave, no matter what.
Nobody came to help.
Nobody would. I wouldn't expect them to.
And they got the relic anyway.
I tried.
Now, this attack 3 nights ago is when the relic was stolen, not tonight.
Indeed. That is when I first noticed that the moonstone was gone.
And this man in the purple or crimson robes, did he seem to be the cause of this explosion?
I believe so.
It appeared
He said
magical?
words. Indeed. Blue flames licked the side of this monastery like I'd never seen them before.
Blue flames. Loving these blue flames.
Now, if this happened 3 nights ago, was there anything that happened tonight to the monastery itself?
No. If you're talking about the imps, they did not come here.
So this whole mess is from 3 days ago.
Indeed.
Can I insight check that?
Go ahead.
Seems like
May
they
I
would've
as well?
done
That
something.
seems weird. Okay.
12.
9.
Yeah.
You're not too sure if he is telling the truth or not, but what you do glean from this man, when he's talking about this attack, he seems visibly shaken by it. He seems, you don't know if it's fright or nervousness, but he is definitely shaken. Whether or not it happened 3 nights ago or not, it's hard to glean from him. The story seems to be, he seems to be telling the truth of what the story itself. You can tell that just by his emotional state at the moment.
So you said he's sitting down, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna kneel in front of him and just kind of try to get his eye line. And I understand you've been through a lot. I've seen my fair share of violence. I know what it does to you. Just try to take a few deep breaths. Think for a moment. Is there anything else that you can remember? Anything you can tell us about these men, the ones not in robes who were here? Did they have a particular look about them? Did they move a certain way? Any small detail, anything that you might not think is important could help us narrow it down.
There were multiple of them. But the only one I really got a good look at was the man in the robes. At least 5 or 6.
Did you hear any of them say anything at all?
No words except for the one man in the robes. He spoke a language I did not understand. Before they vanished.
Do you remember any snippet of what he might have said?
I could not
Any-
repeat it if I tried.
Was it guttural? Was it almost angelic? Was there any like word you could attach to it?
All I can say that it shook me to my core.
Hadlith
me with
is
the
going
fear.
to repeat the word moonstone in each language she knows to see if it
Shit.
if it clicks. If any of them click.
What languages do you know?
Let me get that. Common, Elvish, Giant, Orcish, Primordial,
God.
Sylvan, and Goblin.
Dear Lord.
Oh, good lord.
World renowned.
Apologies. I do not recognize any of it.
Okay.
It is not it.
Well, that narrows it down.
But that is all, my friends, I promise.
Okay.
He
We
said
believe you.
previously he's put his hand to his head and came away with a little blood, like from a wound. I'll go up and just, if you don't mind, you seem a little shaken, maybe a little injured. You still got some blood. I could do a thing or two about that if you want.
If you can, please.
All right. He's gonna first, I'm just gonna see what needs to be done. Is there a fresh wound there, or is it a couple days healed?
It's probably a couple days healed at this point, but you can still
Yeah.
see that there's blood coming from a wound on the back of his head. Probably from the blow that he had taken from the blast.
All right. Then he'll kind of get behind him, start playing around with his head, reach down, pull out a pair of pliers that look like just tongs you would use or pliers you would
Like
use
there's a-
normally.
Surgery here.
No, nothing like that. Just I want to make sure they're a little bit steadier than my hands. And he starts. The pliers almost look like they're twisting the skin together, and in doing so, he's going to use that to cast Cure Wounds and just seal up everything.
Interesting. He kind of winces at first at sort of the pressure, but then
Just-
realizes there's no pain attached. And as you finish, he looks up at you and... Are you touched by the Father?
No, I just learned long ago how to fix things. People sometimes included.
Bless you. You want to roll for the hit points for Q horns?
Sure. I don't even. Well, it's
One?
another 1, but plus 3, so that's 4 total.
All right.
House matters aren't so bad when you give them a shot.
I thank you.
Couple more questions before we head out. Do you know, like, what did you know about the Moonstone going into the night of the attack?
The only thing the master told us was that it was a relic from Eldor's history, that the Order had given us orders to guard it with our lives. And if it ever came into danger, we were to give ourselves up for the relic itself, protect it until the very end.
Kind of failed at that one, but does anybody else know? Anybody else
Yeah.
ever been tasked with guarding the relic? Is it always you?
Myself, mainly. I feel that the master, he trusts me the most of the others, and I have probably the most training when it comes to any form of combat here. But none of the others were specifically tasked. I mean, we are all tasked to guard these relics at all times, but I was tasked as they went on their travel to the Chonderwood to stay here and guard it.
Rules out anyone else.
I think it might be time to pay a visit to the Arrow.
Yeah. Is Mistel still in the room, or is he not?
No, but as you guys seem like you don't have any more questions, the master wanted me to gather him before you left, if you are leaving. If you give me a moment. If you don't have any other questions, that is.
Before you
Please
go,
do.
I think we're good.
I just wanted to let you know you tried your best, and that's all anyone can ask.
We'll see if the Order thinks the same. Thank you, my dear.
I hope so. I wish you luck.
You?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I'll be right back. He stands up,
Calder just
enters the
pats
door once again.
Eggball on the shoulder. Good try, buddy. Good try. Stew's always good.
Gonna leave full
So-
bellies and confused minds all over town.
Was the guy
So
was the guy
the-
that we saw in the dormitory? Was that the same one that we saw being whipped in the street?
It was.
Okay, just wanted to verify.
So what we've learned is that the attack here has nothing to do with the imp invasion. Is that what I'm putting together?
Yeah, in fact, there was no imp invasion over here.
Necessarily
But-
nothing to do.
The fact that they both relied on this blue flame certainly seems.
Indeed. In fact, the
Interesting.
moonstone that was taken 3 days ago might have been used to help summon the imps.
That's what I was
That's
thinking
That's a
too.
good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's like no one back there. I don't know if we said that yet or not, but it was totally empty.
They might
There
be
was
the
one
other,
door we didn't get to check, but it didn't
they
seem
might be
very
the other
promising.
direction. The way that the
You were back there? You came from there?
Rin's just gonna look at you and wink and just go, shh.
my style went
I
the other
had-
side
okay.
to bring out Hestus. Or Hestil?
Hestel. Yep. Hestle.
They might be back that way. Maybe the relics are that way as well.
Yeah, I didn't see any relics
Probably.
back there. Unless they're talking about cheese and bread, but doubt that's it.
To some. To some.
If it's something they guard with their lives, it's probably fairly well hidden, not just behind a door.
You never
Well,
know.
I'm assuming there's more behind that door.
There's always more behind the door.
There's always more behind the door.
Eventually. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, while we're waiting for Master Myself, Isaiah probably can't help himself. He starts setting pews back in places and fixing things. But
What a dad would
Anyway,
do. He had the trash bag at Christmas, cleaning up the paper.
he definitely goes around and is picking up scraps that can't be fixed, like pieces of wood and metal and things like that that could be maybe used for something smaller, but can't be fixed in whatever they were.
Okay.
I'd help with that, just to do something.
And it does take him a couple minutes, probably 5 or 10 minutes before Master Maistel and Hestel both return. Again, I do want to offer my thanks to all of you for what you did in the town. There was word that you had helped at least slay some of the beasts that harried the people, along with the sheriff, of course. Also, Father bless all of you. I'm sorry I couldn't be much more help. I hopefully Brother Hestis offered more aid than I could.
He did his best. Gave us more than we had.
But please, let me walk you out. And if you have any other questions that you can think of, feel free to visit, and hopefully the next time you do, the monastery's in a better state.
Well, we'll see if we can wrap this up quick, and I'll come back and help with that. Don't worry.
As we're leaving, I just want to hang back.
Oh shit, I'm gonna hang back too.
Oh,
Everyone's hanging back.
oh no.
I'll leave. I'll let him walk me out.
Going with.
I'll leave.
Ren, do you mind if I have just a minute
Um,
with my
no,
still here in private?
that's totally fine. But can I have a minute next?
Of course.
Okie doke. Don't go anywhere, Master Marcel. And she'll take a steps out at earshot.
Yes, my boy.
Now, I may not agree with your particular brand of zealotry, but you are a holy man, yeah?
Gives you a nod.
And you don't seem to be a stranger to magic. Is there a just like a piece of debris on the ground, like a chunk of a pew or something?
Of course, there's rock and broken stone and all of the sort around you. Yeah.
Okay, I will. I'll just bend over and I'll touch a piece of rock or stone
Mm-hmm.
and cast light on it,
Mm-hmm.
so it begins to radiate that light. I look at him. You seen something like that?
It is a simple spell, of course.
What would you say is the source?
Father himself.
Well, that seems a mite biased, perhaps. There's a lot of guys, ain't there? Maybe it's not from a god at all. Does the Father ever give you dreams?
The Father speaks to us all in all sorts of different ways. I also feel a weight on your shoulders, my child, of oppression. Some choices that you have made that you may have not wanted. Father is there with you as well. Always has been.
Maybe. Can't say as I felt him. Certainly didn't make it any easier. Anyway, if you don't have any answers for me, then I'm gonna go.
He puts his hand in your shoulder as you kind of turn, and he just says to you, "Justice and good, above all." my child?
Justice. Good is up for debate. And I leave.
And when Rin notices him go, she'll just walk up to Marcel and say, I was just curious about your staff. You said you could find anyone?
Anyone, but there are limitations, of course.
What do you need to find someone?
Piece of them. Something that relates to them. It's better that I've met them or known them in one way or another.
What if you had a piece of someone related to them?
Think for a second. It's possible.
Like if they were like really close, like twins or something.
Are you sure you want to find this person?
I'm very sure. I'm very, very, very sure.
It is possible.
Would you be willing to try for me?
Of course. Come.
What do you need from me? Okay.
And he kind of sits back in the same pew, and sits down next to you. You said you have a piece, something that of theirs.
Well, not really of theirs exactly, but she'll reach up and grab a lock of her own hair and say, "Would something like this work?"
Kind of takes it in his hands and it may. Do they have a name?
Briar.
Briar. Do you mind?
Yeah, she'll take her dagger and just slice the lock and hand it right over.
Give me a moment. And as
Thank
he
you.
does, he sits the hair next to him, and he plucks the stone right off of his staff. And as he does, he sets it near the hair itself, and he begins to wave his hand, kind of gently over it, shakily over the stone. And as it does, it begins to glow brighter and brighter, and his eyes close. And as he seems to be going through his incantation, the hair itself seems to disappear.
Wide eyes the whole time.
You hear him muttering something underneath his breath. And he comes back. I'm sorry, my child. And he rests his hand on your lap. There was something resisting. I don't know if it was him or... I don't know.
Okay, it was just resistance though, right? It wasn't like he was. It was just resistance, right?
Connection was attempted. I'll tell you that. He's still on this plane of existence, if that's what you are worried about.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That helps. That really helps. Thank you. And she'll if he doesn't seem like he's going to say anything else, she'll just give him a pat on the shoulder and head towards the others.
Before you go, there was one other thing.
Yeah.
The younger gentleman with the darker hair. There was something I wanted to say to him, but it seems that he has left. I know the father... Your other friend said that there are more than just in Meta. The father is a god. I believe that is true, even though I may not follow the others. The others are just important in the circle. But just let him know the father watches him in particular.
Oh, okay. My friend with the guns?
Yes,
Or the strange metal devices? I probably don't know what they are.
The big boomsticks that he carries on his hip.
Yeah, the boom wands. Okay. The father watches him in particular. Oh, okay, that's a little creepy. I'll pass it along, sure. Okay. Thank you. And she'll go to skip off to find the others.
You exit into a cold night. It is probably getting close to midnight at this point after you have left the monastery. Above you, it is cloudy. You really don't see any stars. The grass around the monastery is probably getting wet with dew at this point as the temperature is dropping. Pretty cold at this point. You can almost see your breath visibly as you stand outside the monastery.
Hey, this soup is actually pretty good. You say you didn't get any customers? I don't get it.
Good. Good stew.
Very good.
Rin will go right to Castus and just pull him aside as they're walking, and just say,
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
So the priest had kind of a weird message he wanted me to give you. I hope it doesn't upset you. He just said that the father is watching you in particular. I don't really know what it
Okay, is
means.
this like a thanks. I appreciate it. I'll file that away.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to me too. I just told him I would tell you.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, we going to the Arrow tonight or tomorrow?
No.
They might be.
I've been
sleeping.
thinking about that. Well, these kind of people, they probably tend to do more work this time of night.
It's a late night type of crew.
But
Oh,
question is, do we want to see them or do we want to see the place? We go tomorrow during the day, it might be fewer of them. Maybe we could get a look around. They're certainly not going to want to show us anything. Unless some of you know some of them.
I don't expect they
I
want
can-
to show us anything regardless.
if we can get a look at one of them, I can look like them.
Oh, that's helpful.
Interesting.
I say we can let's go take a look. Maybe kind of keep our distance a little bit, but we can kind of scope it out.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, my left arm has been getting number and number ever since those zips. Might have to call it soon.
I really can take that thing out. It's not gonna
It'll probably be fine. Probably.
and fix up the hole afterwards. All
Probably
right.
be fine.
Probably.
It would be fine.
His arm just plops to the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
And it's
Does
infection
that touch
tolerant.
Me instead.
She's gonna look at Roderick and say, "Will you trust me? Can I take a look at it?"
Oh, it's not a trust thing. It's just don't think it's that important.
How
Definitely
many
not
Well,
the
if your
one
points is it
arm
down?
falls off,
Hmm?
that's gonna be pretty bad and pretty hard to fix.
My arm's not gonna fall off. My arm's been through worse. Trust me.
And even if it does, he could then pick it up with the other arm and still swing it around.
Exactly. Free
Be
will.
fine.
Okay, if you
Very
say so.
But
Oh,
I mean, getting the lay of the land isn't going to take too much effort or time. We could at least take a look, find the place first of all.
We could always try to talk to people tonight, and then maybe when it's quieter tomorrow, some of the quieter ones could take a closer look if we need to.
I do tend to think a bit, probably best.
I mean, it tends to be easier to do quieter things at night. At least in my experience.
Well, it's
Always with
easier to do
criminals.
quieter things when people are asleep. Criminals tend to be doing things at night, so they sleep during the day.
Too bad these criminals are day bandits.
Oh.
You guys are all wrong.
All right, but It's not a bad idea to at least find the place so we know what's going on.
Yeah, we can at
And we
least
can,
see how they've reacted to everything that happened tonight.
if anybody's going in or out, maybe we get a good look at them for Atlas, whatever they want to do, and then we'll see about sleeping arrangements. I certainly haven't seen the inn. I don't know what it looks like after the attack.
Wait, we're gonna sleep at the inn?
I don't know.
It'll be,
I have
it'll
been.
be okay. You'll be all right. You won't have any problems, I'm sure.
Never.
Well,
Do they have bed big enough?
No, but the floor's a little bit more comfortable. There's no rocks sticking up in your back ever.
If it makes you more comfortable, we can keep it down to 1 or 2 rooms and take watches. Keep an eye through the night.
I've just never slept in an inn before.
Weird.
Often dirty, occasionally smelly, but usually all right.
It's like sleeping outdoors, except not.
And you see the sky?
No.
If there's windows. Sometimes there
Okay,
are.
I want to sleep in a window.
Sure.
We'll
can
we'll
do that,
find
Atlas.
something that'll
Sure.
work for you. Yeah.
We'll get you a window to sleep in.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's go check out the Arrow.
Yeah, we'll just take a walk, see if we can find it. Somewhere over on the other side of town.
Okay. Who wants to lead the an investigation check to see if they can find the arrow in the middle of Elbador at midnight?
I'll try to lead it. Why not?
Okay.
Come on, don't fuck me down.
I know towns. Can I help?
Yeah, you can roll with advantage.
Okay. Okay. No, wasn't it? Oh, much better. Okay, that is it says investigation. 15.
Okay. It takes you a better part of the night, probably about like an hour or so, to find it. You can tell as you walk past the inn, the Happy Home. You can hear from the inside that it's bustling. So the party never ended after the festival. It seems like it all kind of migrated to the inn. So there are a lot of people, and as you walk past, you may ask a few people, and they point you towards, like I said, the opposite end of town, sort of the northern part of the town itself, kind of near the town wall. And as you approach the building that has been pointed out to you, the street outside itself is strewn with debris because of an overturned cart that it seems kind of right in front of this building. It doesn't have any markings. The club itself, is a half timbered building. You can see the roof is poorly thatched. You see some wooden carved shields that kind of hang on the wall. This is what was pointed out to you as the dagger. You can see that inside some windows that seem to be fogged. You can see there are lantern lights kind of shining through. It's a fairly medium-sized building. It's 1 story as far as you can tell. Why they call it a club, you're not sure, but
Does this cart look like it was intentionally overturned, like a set of barricade, or like it was knocked over?
it seems like it was knocked over for whatever reason. It's not barricading like the street from the building or anything like that. It just seems to be strewn in front of this building haphazardly. You see some supplies and some general supplies and food and such things on the street. No one
Is there
cared
anyone,
to
like,
clean it up.
is there anyone watching the door outside or anything?
Perception check.
And while we're standing out there, I'm kind of gonna put up my hood and just try to be inconspicuous.
Okay.
Ren's gonna put her hood up too.
My hood is up by default.
All right. So are you guys trying to hide, or are you just putting your hoods up?
Just putting my hood up.
I'm going to try to hide.
All right.
I'm gonna
Everyone,
try to
give me a stealth check as well.
Okay. I will say I
That's
don't know if this will change anything, but the group can move stealthily at a normal pace.
Ooh,
with Adlith in the party.
I'm 16.
23.
18.
7.
Egg. Who rolled a 7? Nice. You're just at the door knocking.
Very in character.
Yeah, pretty much.
9. I'm clanking a bit around.
You guys tried your best to be stealthy, but you are 7 fairly odd individuals sticking out in the middle of town, not really knowing where you're going in general. But with a 12, you don't see anything, Caldor. Nobody guarding, like standing in front of the door, saying no one's allowed in or anything like that. You don't see any individuals outside or anything.
I want to try to go around the building, just kind of just take a look at the lay of the land around it.
Okay.
Another stealth check or investigation, or
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. If you're getting closer, I will need another stealth check from you then.
Ugh, don't come on, don't fuck me, don't do it bad. Don't do it bad. That's not. Oh, that's not bad. 14.
Okay. So you're just trying to get sort of the layout on the outside of the building?
Correct.
Okay. So like I said, the building's medium in size. So you kind of put your hood up and just begin to walk. There is like an awning that kind of juts out to the one side, and it is held up by 3 large wooden posts. Probably where someone may store a horse or a steed or something like that. It is empty at the moment. So you kind of walk past that. There's 2 windows on that side of the building. When you get towards the back, it isn't directly nestled to the wall of the town. But there is like a good 5 to 10 foot gap that contains barrels and crates and stuff on the back of the building. You see one smaller window, probably only about 3 foot in length and 2 feet in height. There's a shining lantern light through, kind of casting a shadow onto the wall. Making a loop around the building, same thing on the other side, except without the awning. There are 2 large windows that seem to be fogged. Lantern light showing. You do kind of see movement, like shadowy figures. You can't really make anything out unless you would get closer, but you can see movement inside. You can hear general rabble as well, like people maybe drinking or having a time inside. It isn't empty, that's for sure.
Do we want to?
I want to try to get a little closer.
Okay. And you're gonna try to look in the window?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check then.
Okay, let's try a different dice. Let's try this one's nice. Let's try that one. Ah, gross. That'd be the 5.
Oof.
Windows are too fogged at the moment. It's cold outside and warm inside. You really can't get a good look. You can see at least 10 individuals inside, shapes and figures, but you can't make out any features. Some sitting around tables, some walking around. You can see that there is a bar. You can see a bartender kind of serving people inside. But other than that, you can't really make out any details.
Well,
I'll head on back to the group.
while we're standing around outside, Castus is taking his look. Does it look as damaged as the rest of the town did around here?
Give me an investigation check or a
Okay.
perception check, up to you.
Oh, definitely investigation if I have the chance.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually good. 17 and 5. Total of 22.
Okay. You know buildings. You know how buildings are constructed and what they're usually constructed out of. These gentlemen and ladies inside this building have done a good job, but not good enough for your eye. They have done some repairs and repairs quickly. You first notice it at the door, the front. You can see where a board had been replaced at the very top left-hand corner. And kind of nailed in. You can just see it's kind of on an odd angle. There's light kind of streaming through the top of the door that wouldn't normally be if the door was constructed normally. You can see some destruction in the sort of stable area itself. No glass has been broken open. The building itself is made out of stone, so they didn't like bust through the walls or anything like that. Thatch roof seems like It definitely has some holes that you notice that there definitely has been destruction of this building, but they tried to do their best to hide it. For sure.
Interesting.
We want to try to go in.
Well,
Have a
they
couple
did
words.
say it's a
maybe?
club.
Yeah, I mean, we could just be patrons, not start any fights until later.
Yeah, we
Nah,
can
no
even just go in and
fights.
listen.
Yeah.
I mean, we are outsiders. We might be looking for a place that isn't full of the other people in this town that were like spitting at some of us.
Good.
Yeah,
Might be banned from
I
there,
hate
actually,
to
now that I think about it.
I
After
hate
last
to
night, I don't know if they want me back.
Uh,
I hate to say it, but I think maybe those who can pass as human should be the ones going in.
Human?
only.
Adlith snaps her fingers. She shrinks about a foot in height, and there's this freckled ginger girl standing there in her place. Looks
Okay,
human.
that works too.
That's
Send it
really,
through.
really neat, Adlith.
Yeah, I don't do it very often unless it's like I'm supposed to. But anybody of my race can do it, to fit in better.
Yeah,
Because we don't
definitely.
usually.
Maybe
Unfortunately.
maybe you should just be careful when you speak in there. Don't tell anybody the truth. Just
Don't tell them we're working for the mayor.
yeah, no, don't say
No, no,
anything
no,
about the
no,
mayor.
no.
Just your name is Adlith and you would like a drink, and that is all.
Do you think they have milk?
No, you should probably ask for mead or ale or something.
We'll get you something that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I trust you guys.
And Eggville, for you, can you be threatening like a bodyguard, like oh?
Mm.
He just like furrows his brow and frowns and just crosses his arms.
Oh, that's really scary.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah, it works.
perfect. All right, so we're going in.
So who's going?
I am.
Mm,
Okay, we got an egg. I know eggs. We're just gonna stand there in the middle of the street doing that.
Yeah.
I was told just to be a bodyguard. I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, I'm gonna go in. Yeah.
Based on
And,
what Castus said, I'm not sure I would be amongst that group.
Yeah, we can just hang
Okay.
out here.
Ren's also gonna fluff her hair up over her ears, and she's got her hood up.
So we got Ren, we got Cassis, we got Adlith, and Egg
Egg.
going in. Okay. So
I'll
who
just
approaches the
kinda-
door?
Wait,
I'm gonna
not
grab
outside?
Castus real quick before they
No,
head
I'm
in.
gonna stay outside. It's not really my kind of people. Don't know how to
Just-
talk to them.
Grabbing
Um,
Castus really fast. If you
oh,
can,
yeah. What's up?
maybe try to have a couple cheeky conversations. Try to get on their level unless they already know who you are, in which case you're fucked. But if you can kind of seem like one of them, maybe ask about recent work. I don't know.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Or weasel out a little information. Put them at ease.
All right.
Adlith has
And
been
if
walking
you-
towards the door.
Yeah, Ren too.
And if you hear a sudden loud popping noise, please come in.
Will do.
Okay.
Uh,
You guys
all right.
approach. And what are the rest of you doing? Just standing out the opposite building, like across the street, just waiting?
Before
guess-
we go, I'll point out there are some windows around the back and the sides. If you want to try to keep an eye, you can kind of look out there.
I'm just gonna find like a barrel or something on the side of the road, either right in front of it or across the street from the arrow.
I mean, there's that
Plop that
upturned
there.
cart full of stuff. I'm probably just gonna start trying to set it back to rights.
Just
Hey, I
fixing
mean, if nobody
everything.
wants it, that's a free card.
All
And
right.
figure-
So who approaches the door?
Ren does.
Oh, I'll be right.
And,
I'll be right.
Adlith and Ren.
I'll be right behind Adlith with my hands on her shoulders, ready to stop her at a moment's notice.
And
An
Egg,
egg
you're
will
just following.
take the rear. Yeah.
Cool. So you two approach the door, and as you get closer now, you can definitely hear commotion inside. People enjoying themselves. Probably the end of the festival. At this point.
Do I just open the door?
You can try. You go and you try to open it. It's locked.
All right, guess we can't go in.
No. Let's just stay put. I kind of walk around her and knock on the door loudly.
You hear from the inside a voice. It's muffled. And you hear kind of goes silent for a second. And from the door, you see a small hatch slide open. And in front of you, you see two piercing yellow eyes with black pupils that are kind of cat-like almost. Really all you can see. And then above it where the nose is, kind of right in this area, you see dark clay red like hair kind of sprouting up and onto the forehead. You can see it as long and these long eyebrows, but that's really all you can see from this figure at the moment. Business.
Hi, I'm Adlith, and I want
Pleasure. We're here for some pleasure, maybe some business.
We know you.
Ren will say in Thieves Can't, just here for a drink and maybe talk about some jobs.
His eyes kind of squint. Closes the hatch.
What did you say?
Just give it a minute.
She said that there's no water in the river. Didn't you just hear her say that?
Uh,
A few moments later, the heavy footfalls approach the door again. Organization.
Freelance.
What kind of jobs are you looking for? We're not paying
Sell
at the
sword.
time.
It just depends on what kind of jobs you have. We've got a lot of skills between us. What do you need? This isn't Thieves Can't.
Are you serious?
Listen, we're new in town. We're just trying to make some friends. I'm here for a drink mostly. I just want to, meet people. It's been kind of a crazy night, right?
Persuasion check.
We hear this, the rest of us, on the cart.
You can give me a perception check to see if you can hear what's going on.
I'll go for that.
Ooh, that is an 18.
9.
Kind of like looks, kind of seems to like lean in and looks at Adlith. Looks to the rest of you. No
She's
children.
staring at me back.
she's older than she looks. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Let me ask the boss. He slides the thing closed again.
What are you saying?
Oh, what was your roll? Redrick?
18. Or...
No, Redrick.
I had a 9.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't hear any of this.
Alright.
Or really even see.
Oh.
Just helping Isaiah with the cart still.
His Thieves Can't is like
Yeah,
how I
it's
imagine
just
it's
double
like you
speak.
say some. Yeah, so Adlin turns to Cassis and says, "She said the cat is hairless. Didn't you hear that?"
Sometimes you just have to know how to talk to these people, that's all.
Weird.
A few moments
I've heard
later,
people talk like you.
you hear the footsteps come back. And at this point, you hear the door opens and a bright lantern light kind of shines out into the street. And now you do hear a bunch of rabble that kind of dies down as a door opens to reveal Castus, who's not the biggest and strongest type, probably rather scrawny looking gentleman, a small gingerhead girl.
Slender.
There you go. And Ren, all in front of them here, and they all kind of get quiet immediately as they turn to look at you. What you do see, though, in front of you is a large bugbear. This bugbear stands about close to just over, he's probably over 7 foot tall. He wears a large leather, or not leather, but it is a large steel pauldron that has spikes that kind of jut out, that fits with a leather strap that kind of goes down to a sash that is made of a big metal belt buckle that kind of wraps around him. And on his forearm, there's a large bracer that kind of pulls back what looks like an eagle claw that kind of sits on his arm like this. In his other hand, that kind of sits at the floor, is a mace. The mace is jagged and has spikes all around it, but the head of it is massive. So massive that it's probably the size of Adlith as she got smaller. But it is massive. And it looks like it'd probably take a tremendous amount of strength that maybe even your Goliath friend would have a trouble lifting. But it is quite the weapon. And he kind of holds the door open. Come on.
Thanks, friend. And Ren's gonna walk in like she owns the place and head straight to the bar.
I'm gonna grab Adalith by the shoulders and kind of guide her in.
While she's being guided in, she turns to the bugbear and she says in Goblin, "Thank you."
As the door closes behind you, you see that a massive wooden board, and then behind it, he has metal latches that he kind of puts up on the board. So it is now, you're now locked in essentially. But inside, you see some hammocks that kind of are strewn across the edge of the room, the common room. Many round tables and chairs strewn across here. You see a hearth, a small fireplace that kind of leads up to the ceiling. And inside, you see a few different people that you can tell probably reside here in Elbador. Maybe just got acceptance into the club. Mostly working men that you can see. There are women here kind of taking the laps of these gentlemen and having fun. A lot of people are drinking and playing cards and different types of dice games all over these different tables. Interestingly enough, can I have you three of you make me a perception check, please?
Would I make one as well?
Yes, sorry, the four of you. I forgot you entered, Egg. My bad.
Oh, fuck yes! That is another dirty 20.
Wait, you said perception?
Perception, yes. 15.
15.
Dirty
15,
20.
What's that?
What'd you get, Cassis?
15.
Where is it? There it is. I got a 22.
Okay. All of you notice that there are a few interesting characters in this establishment that aren't human and don't seem like residents of Elbador. You see a halfling, a male halfling. He has uneven copper hair and bright hazel eyes. He wears banded mail, and he has a mace at his hip. You also see a female elf dressed in this beautiful black dress, who seems to be taking a table of her own, who, as a couple frustrated gentlemen stand up and obviously in frustration of losing a hand to her. She has silver hair and these beautiful blue eyes that stand out very prominently in a wide mouth. You can see a short sword on one side that falls down the side of the chair and a dagger on the other hip. Lastly, you see another halfling. This one's female. She's short. She wears a messy auburn hair, and she has some soft brown eyes. She wears plate mail and wields what looks like a quarterstaff. But those are the few interesting characters. And behind the bar, you see a dwarf, a male dwarf, balding, kind of to the back middle of his hair, and then back here he has a large, red-haired bun, and a goatee, short trim goatee, red hair, kind of sits on his face. He seems to be serving all sorts of drinks to a bunch of different patrons.
Ren
Shall
will,
we get a drink?
yeah, Ren's already headed straight to the bar, and when she catches his eye, she's gonna ask for an ale.
Oi, you new here?
Yeah, very new to town. How are
What
you?
can I get for you?
Oh, ale for me, please.
Ale.
I guide Adlet to a seat. Gonna push her there. She will have. What's the sweetest thing you have?
Oi. We have beer.
Beer, what it is. I'll have a beer myself.
Oi. Oh, do you need any
And I'll lean into Adlet.
food or anything like that?
I just ate recently. It's been a bit of a crazy night, huh?
Just 2 beers then. 4 copper pieces each. And he kind of turns around and he gets underneath the bar and pours 2 beers for both of you. Can I ask your name?
Ren. I'm Ren. What's your name?
Just Ren. Kind of stops as he hands you the mug.
Huh. It's Harlock if you're asking, but how about you, friend?
It's Hildy.
Hildy.
Hildi.
How long have you been here, Hildy? It's been a little unhospitable to us and some of my friends.
Oh, I'd say I'd been at the Dagger or the Arrow for about 5 or 6 years now. Serving drinks is my specialty. I'm surprised a fair lady like yourself would want to be in an establishment like this.
Not so fair. Not so much a lady.
And is
what?
this your husband?
Oh no.
No. Just a traveling associate. Castus.
Costas. Nice to meet you. Hildy, and he hands out a meaty hand to you. As he squeezes it, hurts just a little bit. So what brings you here? It seems like your friends are enjoying themselves as he looks past you, and probably Adlith is just curious, walking around, like, looking at all the tables, and awkward-ass Egg is just following her around.
Actually, Adlis was sat at the bar,
Oh, okay.
and when she gets handed this drink and he asks for the money, she just stares at him.
I paid for it. Don't worry. I got it.
Okay, because
And
she
can I-
like looks at the coins a little curiously.
And can I have your name, sweet mistress?
Adlis Furbolg.
Adlith Vervolg. That's an odd last name.
It's an odd family name. You know how it is. We have weird names.
She's from really far to the east. Or west, somewhere. I don't know.
Hi
Do
there.
you guys what's work like in a town like this? As you can see, my friends, one of my friends doesn't really get accepted very easily.
If you're looking for work, you're not gonna find it in Elbaldor. Especially if you're looking for logging. That shit's dried up months ago.
Well, I don't know if that's really in our wheelhouse. We have some different skills.
Well, what kind of skills?
Something a little under the table that we'd be happy to work with you.
Any
Right.
jobs?
Jobs. I'm not the man to talk to about jobs, but the boss should be back soon. He's just in a meeting. I'm sure he
Oh,
already
yeah.
knows you're here.
It's been a pretty crazy day, huh? I bet he's got to talk to a lot of people.
You can say that again. One moment, as he looks down at the bar, as some gentleman's waving him to get a drink. Anything I can get you, my big friend?
I'm good.
We have vegetable stew. It's the special.
We just had
He-
some stew, actually.
He tries to hold back a smile, trying to keep his frown. Or yeah, I'm good.
Very well.
Thank
Well, if you
you.
need anything, feel free to grab me. I'm quite busy, and he kind of runs down to the end of the bar.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
Pops off
gonna.
the stool. She's gonna try wandering around.
Rin is
I'm
gonna
gonna
look
take
for
a
a.
kind of.
Go ahead.
I see. Cass is gonna just kind of look around, see anything stands out, anything that he might know, anything he might not. Just kind of take a look around the room.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Come on, roll well.
Can
Ooh,
can Adlith
it's a
approach the
17.
elven woman?
You can. 17. Nothing that you notice in particular. This place seems to be rather simple in design. There is a curtain that kind of sits to your left if you were facing the bar. It's a black curtain that falls down. That's the only other door you see in and out of this place, or like not even a door, but another entryway that leads to another room. The fire is burning. People are drunk and having fun. It's a festival. You don't see any symbology or anything, or recognize any people here. You approach the elven woman, Adlith.
Mhm.
And who are you? Curious, darling. I've never seen one of your kind in person before.
Not a human?
Please. Are
Can
you...
I look like myself in here? Is that allowed?
Well, maybe not to this fool, and she looks next to a gentleman next to her, but to me, of course.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Can I have a seat?
Sure, lovely. Please sit down. Where
Thank
did
you.
you come from? You are quite the specimen.
Oh, the Chondlewood.
The Chondlewood, you say?
Mm-hmm.
What does a furbolg from the Chondlewood? How does she find her way to our establishment here? She seems to be paying no attention to what she was just doing, by the way. All attention from the card game has been lost, and she is now kind of leaning in closely to Adlith.
Well, she points to Egg, was traveling with Egg, and he wanted to sell stew here, and then the imps attacked, and now we're.
And she she closes her mouth.
Um, now we're looking for work.
Curious, darling. There's no need to lie to me. Some of us already know that, well, know of all of you. Your presence in town is known to most. What your business here is pretty much known as well. We do know that you talked to the mayor, and we do know that you visited the monastery tonight. Curious that we were your next stop. But don't worry, Kate will be back soon.
She lets out like a sigh of relief and she says,
Okay, I hate lying. I very much dislike it. Oh my gosh. Um, yeah, we as my friend said, we're sticking our nose into the business.
Right. That's what I figured. Um,
You're very pretty.
Thank you. My name is Lewin. And yours?
Lu-
Lewyn.
Um, I'm Adlith Furbolg. I could say
Ah.
that because you know what I am.
And what part of the Chonderwood are you from, Adlith Furbolg?
about 100, is it 100 miles outside of town? That's what we
Yeah,
agreed on.
north.
Yeah, north of the wood, like northern woods.
Ah. My dear, can I ask you a curious question then?
Yeah,
Have you ever seen any tree ants up north?
yes, yeah,
They still wander those parts.
yeah.
And what of a drake?
She swallows. Like a dragon?
A dragon, yes. But one particular dragon doesn't have any scales, skin. Resemble almost skeletal. She sees a wide smile come across her face. Almost as if you would come across its bones in the woods somewhere. But the bones were alive.
Has Adlith? I don't think so, right?
You've never seen anything
No.
like that.
No, I have heard of dragons in the Trondlewood, but nothing like that.
Curious. Well, Adlith Furbolg, make yourself at home. Enjoy yourself.
Do I look like myself, or should I stay like this?
We're all accepted here. Don't worry about disguising yourself, young lady. I'm sure you're just
goes
as
goes back to her
beautiful.
full height.
Oh,
She kind of looks up.
I just look over to Ren. I look over to Ren. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
And
Thank
at
Ren's
this
you.
just
point,
gonna be like. No, she just shrugs.
It's kind of stuffy when you gotta shrink down.
at this point, the establishment itself kind of dies down a little bit further as you see from behind the black curtain. It gets thrown open, and two gentlemen walk out, cursing to each other. One wears a tight woolen cap, kind of and tied to his face, balding and has a scar across his eye. God damn it! You hear him say, "Kate is never fair, and you know it. We'll get our money. Don't worry." You see a younger man kind of follow after him. We done the job. It's okay. I don't trust the bastard. And they walk out past you. And from behind them, you see another gentleman walks out. He has a black cloak kind of falling down. It swoops down to the floor. Large black boots that kind of come up to almost to his knees with black fancy pants. They're rather poofy in a way. The way I say them, they're made of fine silk. Yeah, they're fancy pants. Poofy, and made out of silk. They kind of shine as he walks. With this beautiful ornate black and silver belt. And on it, you see a dagger, and a nice, beautiful silk black shirt that he kind of leaves half buttoned, exposing some of his chest, and long black hair that kind of falls down to his shoulders, that he kind of parts in the middle. Ah, I thought we had guests. You four, come back here. And he kind of turns around, motioning to all of you.
My new
As
Can
he
I
friend.
take
turns
a,
around.
as we're walking? Can I take a look at the belt buckle and see if I recognize that dagger means has any sort of recognition to me?
Sure. Give me a history check.
History check. Okay.
I guess I wanted to ask what has the bugbear been doing?
So the
I wanna keep my
bugbear,
eye on him.
he sits kind of leaning crossed-armed up against the wall, sort of right next to the door. This probably the door guard, the bouncer, just scanning the room at all times. Specifically, he has his eyes on all of the new faces in the room.
If we at some point, if we had happened to make eye contact, I would just nodded his way and went back to keeping my just keeping in proximity of Adlith.
Very well.
I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2?
I rolled a 2.
You would not know it.
Okay.
Damn.
I've been rolling so bad today.
Get rid of that whole set of dice.
And I'm assuming you all follow him into this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we get into the room, Ren's just gonna take a quick scan of it just to see if she sees anything that reminds her of home.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a quick investigation check. And as you enter the room, you see that he has his own little personal fireplace, but you don't see a chimney. But you see like a large square made of brick, and the fires are flaming. Um, you see a large rectangular table with a map spread across it. You see a dagger pressed into the map. A sack of gold and silver kind of sits next to it, with some coins spilled out. Documents on the other side of the table, where you see a stamp and some wax seals that he probably works with here at this desk himself. It is a rather small room. It is not big. You see one of the windows that you see that peers out into the front of the building. That's about it. You see a large chest on the right hand side of the wall, which would be on the back side of the building. You don't know what's in it. But he kind of invites you, please sit. And at that moment, he waves his hand and he flourishes his cloak as he throws it behind him, and he sits in this nice chair. And as he does, the chairs kind of scoot out in front of him. For all
That
of
was
you
an
to sit.
18.
An 18.
And
So,
yeah.
nothing in particular. No symbology on the walls. You don't see any crests or symbols. The room is rather rudimentary
Okay.
in style here.
Ren will sit.
I'll sit.
I will stand in front of the door.
I'll sit.
You must be Cade. Or Mr. Snow, maybe?
And you must be the outsiders. Curious, where's the rest of your lot?
Outside.
Well, we weren't really sure how non-humans would be accepted. It hasn't been a great reception around town so far. And we just brought Egg for protection.
Egg.
I was curious to meet all of them. That's all right. You four will do.
Curious about us, huh?
Yes, when I saw you enter the city or the town this night, some of you had an air about you. A familiar air. Curious to see you up close and personal. Reminds me of home.
And
So-
where might that be?
Trust comes first, my friend.
Fair enough.
Understandable.
Now, what brings you to my humble abode? And it seems like
Well, since
a curious thing. As you sit in this room, you notice that a lot of the noise that was in the tavern behind you no longer really exists in here. It almost seems like it is a quiet space altogether.
Can I? Sorry, when he said that some of us remind him of home, can I glean any? Like, is he staring at any of us in particular, or does he
Give me
seem
an
like
insight
he's
check.
thinking of? Okay.
I want to do an insight check too.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna roll shit. I want to try it.
Might as well do it.
Ooh, I'm rolling so good tonight. That's a 22.
13.
Ren,
Hi.
you do. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I got a 7.
You in particular noticed that he was staring directly at you and Castus.
Okay.
Would I get that with my mediocre roll?
This guy has a very Severus Snape look to him, and a very Severus Snape attitude towards him as well. Very stern.
Can I, with the 22, can I glean whether or not he's hostile?
He seems hostile. He also seems kind of reserved at the moment. He doesn't know you. You just walked into his establishment without
Well-
question. But he also seems like he was expecting you in some one way or other.
Okay.
Well, I guess since you
Uh,
know about us, where we've
Before
been,
before we get to the questions, I'm sure they're coming. Let me just tell you, no, we did not have anything to do with the destruction of the town, nor did we have anything to do with the theft of whatever they've been hiding in that monastery of theirs. Those monks, they frightened me. But I promise you, I will not be stupid enough, nor risky enough to pull such a stunt. Now, imps, that is curious, is it not? A
Isn't
bunch of
it?
outsiders just decide to roll into my town and cause chaos. Now,
Well, I I don't really think any of us are capable of that. I know I'm
Neither
certainly
do
not.
I. That's what the funny thing is about it. But there can be a story easily woven to my favor. Is that true?
Uh, I'm
Is
not
what
exactly
true?
sure what he asked.
So essentially, what he's asking is that you guys are a bunch of outsiders, and then that story that he just said could be woven in his favor, right? That you guys are outsiders, just came into town, and a bunch of stuff happened following your arrival.
Oh, in terms of the imps, all of us were kind of together, and none of us really seem to have the capabilities to conjure hundreds upon hundreds of imps that we then ourselves fought and killed.
Well, of
Make
course, I know
food.
you don't have the capabilities of doing so, but the people here,
Yeah.
they're wary of
Well,
outsiders.
you
And
certainly could stick it on us if you wanted to. And maybe you do. I don't know. But I don't think anybody in town is really pointing fingers at you right now. And I'm certainly not pointing fingers at you. I just know that sometimes, people that walk in the shadows hear things. And
Hmm.
I'm just interested in knowing what actually happened.
Curious, what do you know about the Shadows Girl?
Oh, no, not too much. Just, you hear things.
That's what I thought.
About
But
the
anyway,
shadow?
what was that?
About the shadows? Is that what you
Yes,
said?
about the Shadows.
We all have one.
No, not literal chat. No, so okay, so you've said that you have nothing to do with it, which we have no reason to think otherwise. But would you have any idea on who might? Who would be stupid enough to go after the temple, and who would be crazy enough to unleash hell upon this town?
I'm curious why you care.
Well, I mean, aren't you curious about what happened?
Well, I think we're all curious, but you in
Isn't
particular.
isn't
Bunch of outsiders
curiosity
just
enough?
roll into town and want to play hero.
I don't know about playing hero,
Well,
but I've never seen an imp before, and I don't really want to see one again.
there's nothing wrong with just trying to do the right thing, and nothing against any sort of business you may hold, what your concept of morality might be. You have to agree that something happens in your town to potential customers. You wouldn't want anything bad happen to them, right?
Hmm. You may be right, but these people, they're used to having nothing. Little has been provided for them for many years now. And to be honest, I could tell you with confidence that I am one of the only people that have provided anything to them during their struggles. Of course, I care about the people, but I really do care about what I have here before about those people. And I will tell you, those imps, the disaster that came over Elbador, the disaster, are going to bring unwanted eyes towards this place. Um, Eyes that I do not need to be looking here in this particular time.
Which wouldn't that then be best to then point us in a direction to get it away from you? After all, if someone's stupid enough to go after that temple, someone might be foolish enough to go after you or point directions to you. So any help you can provide would point us away from you, right?
Of course, but what makes you think that I know anything about where or what direction to even point you? It seems like you have a
Well,
very good direction to come here.
I'm sure you
well,
hear lots
you
of secrets. You have a bar
you'd
after all.
have to be very well connected.
Give me a persuasion check,
Okay.
both of you.
One or okay.
Okay. Come
Okay.
on, don't screw
20,
me.
one more 20.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Persuasion. That is a 21.
that's better than my 10.
Okay, let me ask this in a different way. You came here looking for a job, yes? Well, let me offer you one. Actually, let me ask this question first. What can you do for me for this information you're looking for?
Well, I guess that
skills do
really
you
depends on
provide?
what do you need.
Let's talk about a little bit of a procurement. A little bit of an
Okay.
adventure into the wood, let's say, and let's just say I'm looking for a particular item or something to be retrieved.
I think we
Lovely.
can assist with that, and we have a perfect guide for the woods right over here.
Hey, that's me, Adlin.
What is the item that you need from the Chandlerwood, I'm assuming?
Well, he reaches down into his desk and he pulls out a drawer. He just pulls out a little tiny vial, test tube looking thing, and he kind of twirls it into his fingers. This needs to be filled with water. Kind of hands it to you.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna.
Does it look like anything? Are there any markings on it or anything? Anything? Any
Nothing in
descriptions?
particular. It just looks like a glass vial. It has a small little cork at the top.
I'm gonna pull out my water skin.
Not any particular water, my big Goliath friend. This water comes from a particular place, a little bit north of here. A place called the Looming Grove. At least that's what we know it by.
Is
There is a
that
pool. Go ahead.
is that what Adlin knows it as?
You can give me just give me a general history check.
Ooh, history.
Yep.
13.
You would not know this name.
Okay.
The pool itself is said to be rather hard to find, and there are few who know where to look for it. All I know is that it is in a northern direction. You may want to look for what are they called again? Ah, the NG clan. A odd sort of gnome that live in the forest. Rather vicious, I would say so myself. They may know its exact location, but this pool, water, me. If you can do this for me, I may have the information you know or are seeking.
Okay. What's
Insight.
and as she's inciting, Ren's
Go ahead and
asking,
roll.
what's so special about this water?
Let's just say it has some useful properties that I myself could use for many different things. What was that? Insight check. A natural one.
It's
He
so on
seems like a
brand.
curious character.
Okay.
I think I look to Ren. Something we can assist with, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly, we can certainly ask our friends. It seems like it could be within our wheelhouse. Just the vial of water and then information, right?
Sure. And, since you all are such a curious bunch and had the confidence to come into a place like this, looking the way you do, let me just give you something in return to know that I'm good for my part of the deal. Let your dragon faced friend out there know that, Sloane, the man he's looking for, I know where he can find him.
Okay.
Okay.
Um.
Well, um, I guess we have a deal. And Ren will, well, assuming that our friends agree, but assuming that they agree, Ren holds out her hand for a shake.
No need. He kind of waves his hand, and in front of him, kind of lays down a scroll, or kind of he manifests a scroll, and it kind of floats down and onto the table. If you could please, and almost out of thin air, he pulls out a small pen and a vial of ink. Just sign your name at the bottom of this.
Have I ever seen anything like this before? Has my
You can make me
family
an
ever
Arcana
mentioned
check.
anything like that before?
Arcana check.
Okay. 17.
17. You're not too sure.
Okay.
I'm about to sign us off to the devil.
Do you want me to sign it since I'm gonna lead us into the woods?
I only need one name. All it is an agreement and a bond, and if it is broken and you would run off without completing your task, or at least attempting it, could be repercussions.
I look to Ren. I take the pen and sign Castus. Oh yeah.
You sign it, and it seems, and there is literally no text. There is literally just an X and a line on the parchment. So there's nothing really to read. He kind of curious. He looks at it and back up to you. Very well. And he does this motion and kind of turns
Does-
into
Can I-
flame and ash.
I
Was
do an
that-
insight
did
check
he
on
just
that
sign a-
look?
Did he just sign a fake name? Is that what that was?
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Not an insight check. I'm scared.
That is a natural 20 for a 23.
Ooh, that's a 12 for me.
He just looked at you curious because you're not too sure. But to you, Ren, the ink, what he expected to happen, didn't immediately happen the way he thought it was going to. For whatever reason, you're not too sure why, but you could tell that he was kind of startled by the fact that that it didn't go like the spell didn't take immediately the way he thought it would.
Okay.
But whenever it did take, and the parchment kind of burst into small flame and ash, he seemed confident and he seems happy. Very well. There is no time limit on this. It may take you a few days to get where you need to be. The Enjoy clan, they can be hard to find. I warn you, they are vicious.
Okay. Well, so were the imps.
Indeed they were, my young lass. Anyway, I
Yeah.
can sense the angst in the air. Kind of thinks for a moment. Anything else?
Nope. I think that's it for now.
Yeah.
Is the food good?
Here. He's just kind of taken aback by your question.
Yes.
It's possible.
Hmm.
You all are an odd bunch.
We keep hearing that. I don't really see it myself.
Well, I have business to take care of.
Of course,
Give
you're a very
your
busy man.
companions my introduction and my thanks. Early thanks.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to meet you. Bye.
Goodbye.
And he goodbye. And he throws his fingers in the curtain. And then all of a sudden you hear the voices of the tavern once again kind of pick up in your ears. And that is where we are going to end our session for the evening.
Hey.
Hey.
Can I just quickly
bad.
ask?
Nice.
Can I quickly ask? Egg does want to try the stew, and I figured I don't know if I want to wait until next week for that. Just
Sure.
it will be
So
He will be
4
ordering
copper
stew.
pieces for the vegetable stew. It is
All
rather
right.
salty. It is made poorly with vegetables that have probably been there. You know, you are unimpressed by the stew here at the Arrow.
I'll just take a couple bites and just put the spoon back in, push it away, and I'll walk out with the rest of the group. That
Good
stew.
Well, guys,
Sloan was what was Sloan all about? I'm scared now.
Don't worry about it. It's
Well,
nothing.
we'll figure out everything that just happened next week. Thank you all for coming out and watching, and cool. I hope
Real
everyone has a
quick.
great night. Yeah, go
A
ahead.
couple new followers.
great.
During the stream, we got Pro Strats, Hade OSRS, K Bunny, and Tito Tot. Bunch of my friends. So thanks.
Hey, thanks,
Thanks,
Courtney.
Welcome.
Conroy,
Thank you.
Chris,
Yay.
Kayla, and Ty.
Thanks,
And another
Courtney.
thing I meant to say up front: nights off our second weekly show, isn't going to be Saturday this week. It's going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. And I believe Sarah's going to be joining me.
That's
and
tomorrow.
Friday,
Friday,
right?
Friday. Yeah, my
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
I believe Sarah's going to be joining me and whoever else wants to show up. So we'll see what happens, but tune in discussion of episodes 1 and 2. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming.
Yeah.